Let's start. We will not wait any longer. Welcome everyone to today's webinar, Facilitating Team Ownership. Couple of words about me. My name is Evgeny Domchenko. I am an Agile and Systemic coach, leadership consultant and trainer. I am also a professional Scrum trainer with Scrum.org, and I work at DoStride training, coaching, and consulting company. So, facilitating team ownership. Okay. When I work with a lot of companies, when I work with a lot of teams, there are always things what I hear. And one of the most popular things is teams are not really involved. Teams don't really understand what we are doing. Teams are not really in. And teams don't have ownership, teams don't have involvement, etc., etc., etc. Let's imagine a company. Let's imagine a company, and company develops any kind of product. So what we would observe in a company where we have lack of team ownership and where we have lack of team involvement. Business versus development. Always these discussions, there are business and there are development, and there are a fight between both. If there are something wrong or something not done, it's development problem. It's about development. Development departments doesn't make their job. Development. If something doesn't work or something is not clear or there are not enough requirements, etc., it's a business problem. And we always see this bickering between development and business. This is business fault, this is development fault, this is our job, and this is not our job. These silos are existing in companies, the silos are established, and there are actually no bridge between these silos. There are just a wall between them. And they are throwing stuff across this wall. What else we observe? Leadership and leadership argue about low team involvement. Leaders, managers, product owners, product management always tell that we have to tell our developers what to do, we have to explain everything, we have to give tasks and control them. They are not involved, they're just doing whatever they are told to do. There are no creativity, there are no involvement, there are no creative thinking. On the developer side, we see a concept, no tickets, no service. Developers expecting that everything will be created in the tools they're using, for example, Jira or U-Track or Trello, Asana, Monday.com, whatever they're using. Developers expect a ticket, and this ticket needs to describe what needs to be done, and if there are no ticket, it will not be done. If someone wants something, there always comes a question, is it in the tool? Do we have a ticket for this or not? Definition of ready. Such teams and companies also have a definition of ready. What is the definition of ready? Definition of ready is one of the complementary practices, and definition of ready is a list of criteria which need to be fulfilled in order to take something and work. For example, there are a backlog and there are product backlog items in this backlog. And in order to move something from the product backlog in the sprint backlog, we have a definition of ready, and actually product owner and developers take every product backlog item and go through definition of ready. And if everything what is in the definition of ready is there, then developers say, okay, thank you, product owner, you have provided all information we need. Now we are able to take this backlog item in sprint. This might work for some teams, this might work for some developers. I am personally not a big fan of definition of ready because I see a definition of ready as a kind of contract between developers and product owner. And only if this contract is fulfilled, the work will continue. If we will think about Agile Manifesto says customer collaborations over contract negotiation. And this is exactly the opposite of definition of ready. In Scrum, we have something like a ready state of the product backlog item, but it's something different to definition of ready. A ready state of a product backlog item is all information we need. This means just enough information for this product backlog item to enter the sprint. And this is done during the product backlog refinement, where we have a collaboration between developers, product owner, and stakeholders. Okay, what else? Preplanned sprint. In such companies, we also see preplanned sprints. This means we have a product backlog, and this product backlog is already splitted by product owner or product managers or leadership or whoever in future sprints. And it's already clear stated what will be done in the next sprint, within one sprint, in two sprints, etc., etc. These sprints are pre-planned, and this pre-planned plan doesn't change. Lack of product and sprint goals. We observe teams who work on the backlog items, but the goal of their work is just to complete everything what we have in sprint backlog. There are no strategic goals, so we don't know what is the strategic direction of our product, and there are no sprint goals, so we don't know what is the tactical direction of our product. And everything what we do is actually completing everything we have in sprint backlog and everything what we have in the product backlog. And our goals is just to make everything done. Low quality and defects on production. We have products which are delivered with low quality. We have products which are delivered with defects on production, and we have, I'm sorry, I will close the window. We have products which are delivered in low quality and products which are delivered with defects on production. This means that our customers report defects. This means that the quality of the product is not good enough. And actually, we as team know this. We don't have definition of done, or we have a stable definition of done which doesn't change and doesn't evolve. A fixed definition of done which were provided by organization, or a fixed definition of done which were created once when we just started our product, and it actually doesn't change. Definition of done is a list of criteria which need to be done in order to mark a product backlog items as done, and in order to deliver an increment. Well, actually, definition of done is something like a quality gate for developers, and there are everything what needs to be done in order to say that our increment, which is usable and valuable, is also done, and there are everything is done in order to release it. It is potentially releasable. That's definition of done. And what else we observe in these organizations? We observe daily scrums, which are more like a status update meetings. These are events where all come together and just give status update or answer the 3 questions. What have I done yesterday? What I will do today? And what impediments do I have? But it's just about updating everyone and understanding where everyone is and what we are doing. But true daily Scrum is a planning event, and it's about planning the next 24 hours. It's about inspecting and adapting the plan for the next 24 hours. When we observe these things in organizations, then we know that this organization is driven by management, by leadership. This product is driven by management, by leadership, and there are actually no deep involvement of developers. And a lot of organizations, a lot of leaders want to change this. So what we actually do in order to change with this? How do we deal with this? These are some things what people try. Personal metrics. If something doesn't work, if our developers don't perform as we want, we start to establish personal metrics. Different kind of metrics, like our team velocity doesn't allow to be below something and it should grow, or it is allowed only one defect per person within a month, or how many backlog items need to be developed by every developer, etc., etc. Any kind of personal metrics, all these metrics are oriented only on personal and individual performance. And actually, based on these personal metrics, people will get more money, people will get new bonuses, people will get performance reviews and appraisals. What else comes in game? Extrinsic motivation, or any kind of bonus or money. This means that there are these personal metrics and we can connect bonuses or additional payments to these personal metrics. And if someone performs well, this person will get more money. If someone performs not well, this person will get no more money and no bonuses. And with this money, with this extrinsic motivation, leadership tries to bring people more to involvement. What else comes in game? Time tracking and task tracking. We start control our developers, we start control our teams, we start track time, how long someone works on something, how long do we spend on different tasks, on different clients, and different customers, and different products, etc., etc. We start task tracking, and this leads to micromanagement. We start really deep micromanage our team. What else? Leaders' involvement. We hire additional people like project managers, we hire team leads, technical leads, development leads, or whoever, whatever else leads. And the work of these people is to improve, to control, and to develop people, to increase involvement, to increase ownership, etc., etc., etc. Sometimes focus of these people is to keep people busy, to make sure that we have 100% resource utilization and that we actually get the results for money we pay. And in most cases, the deepest focus of these leaders is about keeping people busy. If we keep people busy, this means people are working, this means people do the job, we get the value for the money we are paying, and involvement, everything's increasing. Sometimes in games comes punishment, where people are punished for results which are not satisfy us. People are punished for defects, for low quality. People are punished if they don't spend the whole time on work or any kind of personal metrics. And there are different punishments. It can be anything possible, like no bonus or no salary review, no performance review, etc., etc. One-on-one meetings where leaders speak with team members and start deeper discussing, okay, what is happening actually, why is this happening, and what we can do in order to change this. And in a lot of one-on-one meetings, it's more about leader, team leader, development leader, or whoever else who just tell, hey, dear team member, you are not performing well, and you need to do this, 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 and this in order to perform better. If you will not do this, we have to speak about leaving this team, or about changing the team, or maybe about leaving the organization, or I don't know, anything possible. And there are also organizations who hire a coach. They hire a coach and say, hey, coach, we don't know what to do. Help us, please, to deal with all these problems. And actually, these things work. Personal metrics works, extrinsic motivation works, time and task tracking works, punishment works. But these things work only on the short period of time. It's actually a local optimization. And within a short period of time after this happening, it works, but not later. And with a short perspective, you achieve some results and everyone is happy that actually, yes, we have achieved something, but on the long perspective, nothing changed. And it falls back in the same behavior. And then we see that it falls back in the same behavior. We start to continue work with personal metrics, another extrinsic motivation, another time tracking. And this is the way we make sure that we get some results on the short perspective, but nothing change on the long perspective. The question is what we can do in order to achieve results on the long perspective, and where actually all the problems are coming from. Where does it comes from, and why this happening? Why our team members are not involved? Why do we have a low quality? Why do we have all these problems? And there are three main points which lead to this: lack of ownership, lack of accountability, and lack of commitment. We will continue and dive deeper in lack of ownership today. And actually, if we will manage to create an ownership, a true ownership for our team and for our products and for work we do, team who has the ownership will get accountability and commitment. The ownership itself is a fundamental. Probably you think something like, okay, but actually we own. Yeah, so we are a team, we built a product, and we own this product. It's also different kinds of ownership, and we need true ownership. Let's compare it with something like, for example, you're in the hotel, and in the hotel there are, I don't know, there are a TV. And you actually don't care about this. You are using it, but you don't care. It works, okay. It doesn't work, also okay. And if you, for example, make it dirty or something happens, you are not caring so much. But if you are in your own home and you have your own stuff which belongs to you, and something happened with this stuff, then you care. Yeah, I have here, for example, my mobile phone. And if I will let it fall and break a glass, I will be absolutely unhappy. And I will do everything possible in order not to break it. And if I will break it, I will immediately try to repair it. But I also have another phone, which is my business phone. And in this case, if I will break it, then it is okay. And I am ready to use this phone broken. I don't care. If it will fall or something happen, I don't care, because I don't truly own this. And this is exactly two different kinds of ownership we speak. And what we truly want to achieve is the ownership, is true ownership about the product. So what does the ownership about the product looks like? Before we will dive in what the ownership over the product will look like, let's take a look on common development of the product within a good team. So what do we see when we develop a product? We have a product backlog. Product backlog contains different product backlog items, and this product backlog is ordered by a product owner. And on the top is small stuff, which is important, and product owner has decided that this is something what need to be done soon as possible. And at the bottom are things which, yeah, probably maybe will be done at some point of time. Product owner also think about everything, and let's assume that we have real good product owner who understand the vision and a business strategy, work on the strategy level, a product owner who truly visionary, knows the customer, true collaborator, and real entrepreneurial product owner. Not just a simple business analyst, but real entrepreneurial product owner. And this product owner with clear strategy understanding, with understanding of strategy goals, of tactical goals, of product vision, etc., etc. And this product owner also thinks about the future. And in the product owner mind, we have a product backlog already broken in a couple of sprints. We have a sprint 1, we have a sprint 2 and 3. It might change in the future. Product owner understands this, but this is some kind of product owner vision about future sprints. And we have a Scrum team, we have developers and Scrum Master. We start with a sprint planning, and this is the first event in the sprint. Everyone comes in the sprint planning. Product owner presents the product backlog, and developers just pull in the top backlog items into the sprint. They pull it into the sprint, say, okay, product owner, this is something what we will do. And they even maybe create a sprint goal. Yeah, let's assume this is a good team and they create a sprint goal. Everyone is agree with this. And developers are starting to create a plan how they actually will implement this product backlog items and how they will transform this product backlog items in the done increment till the end of the sprint. And product owner sits there, answer questions, provide informations, explain everything, dictate everything. And sprint planning takes maybe 3 hours, maybe 4 hours. In 4 hours, we have a plan. Product owner has explained everything. And if developers have any questions, they always can approach product owner with these questions. And they start working in the sprint. A pretty normal situation, a nice, good sprint planning, and a good sprint, and they even may achieve results. So what's the problem? The problem is that Scrum team do only stuff what they are told to do. They just do the stuff product owner gave them. They accepted that there are only one mind within the whole team who decides about what needs to be done. but there are more minds. We have the whole team. We have the whole team of the creative thinkers, which can develop a product. We are speaking about Scrum team, and we are speaking about product developers. We're speaking about the people who develop the product. It doesn't mean that they are working like a machines and producing the stuff which is given to them. Maybe you think now, hey, Jack, but it's a product backlog, and product owner owns the product backlog, and product owner decides about the product backlog, and this is product owner stuff. And you're absolutely right. If we will take a look at the Scrum guide, we will see that product owner is accountable for two things. Product owner is accountable for maximizing the value of the work Scrum team do and managing the product backlog. But it doesn't mean that product owner does everything by his or her own. Product owner can delegate, but still remains accountable. This means that product owner is not the only one person who can add and put stuff into the product backlog. Product owner is not only one person who can decide about the product backlog, add something, create the product backlog item, write product backlog item, etc., etc. Product owner just remains accountable and make decisions. Product owner says what goes on top, what goes on bottom, but everything else may be delegated. Delegated to whom? If we take a true entrepreneurial product owner, a product owner who works on the strategy and business level, and not only on the product strategy level, but also on the company strategy level, how much time does this product owner has to write a user story? Absolutely no. So who does this? And we have a Scrum team. We have people in the Scrum team who can do this. But in order to do this, they need to know the product, they need to know the customer, and they need to be able to influence both of them. This is what's need to be achieved for Scrum team and for developers so that they are able to work with the product backlog. So let's start with know the product. And probably you think that, yes, but our teams know the product. They know what we are doing. And maybe you have a product vision. Maybe you have a business strategy. Maybe you have created different documents around of this. You even may have a product goals. And this is something what is communicated. You are doing different town halls meetings or all-hand meetings where you communicate and provide this information, where you make sure that everyone within your company or within your product, within your department heard about this and knows what is our product and what we are building this. But does this actually mean that we know? Know the product doesn't mean that everyone has visited a presentation. And know the product doesn't mean that we have a documentation somewhere in Confluence saved on the server and everyone can access this. Doesn't mean that we know the product. This means that we have heard about our product once, and as far as I know, most teams will forget it within 2 or 3 sprints. But what does know the product means? This. Know the product means that we do a collaborative session all together where we create a common product understanding. What does it mean all together? It means that the whole team, stakeholders, and even users come together. Well, users now are not the must, but if you are able to invite users, real end customers and users to the session, this is awesome. All come together and discuss such things like lead and business canvas. What actually means the business and product strategy, user personas and understanding who is our customer, discussing customer journey, user story maps, and even create some initial mock-ups and designs. Yes, this is actually something what good product owner has already done. This is something what good product owner already have. But it's not enough to present this. It's not enough to show this, because you just provide information. You give information to your team and say, this is the stuff, this is something you shall know. But this doesn't mean that you give ownership. And ownership is gained only when people do something with their own hands. That's why, yes, in this situation, product owner will actually do the same job 2, 3, 4 times. But what product owner will achieve with this is the creating of ownership within the team. So for product owners, this workshop is boring, but for team, it's incredible. It's a workshop or a session. It takes time. I do these product sessions in the very, very worst case, 1 day, better 2 days, 2 day session where we work on this stuff. So we start with understanding the vision, where product owner really presents the vision and transports this vision to the team, make sure that everyone understands. And then we start to create, for example, lean or business canvas. We put lean canvas on the wall, empty canvas, and we start discussing and filling this canvas all together with our team and stakeholders. And product owner, facilitator support this, where we actually speak about problem we're trying to solve, where we actually speak about the customer, where we speak about our unique value proposition, our solution. What is the solution we provide to our customers which solves exactly this problem? We speak about unique value proposition, where I discuss if the customers are willing to use our product, if they will pay for this product, and if they will pay us for this product. We're discussing cost structure and revenue streams, where we earn money and for what we have to pay. And we actually create this all together with the sticky notes on the wall in the room, or in current digital world, we can use a Miro board where we will put the lean or business canvas and all together as a team fill it with the sticky notes. Then we go deeper and start discussing personas. A user persona is a summary of our customers. It's like a one picture, one person, one persona who presents our customer. And it has a picture of our customer, it has a name of our customer, age of our customer, and description. What this customer do, what this customer wants, what is the biography of this customer, what this customer do, different personal aspects of the customer. I will not dive deeper now in what is a persona. You can simply Google it. There are a lot of different persona canvases what you can use. But the key point is that at the end of this, our developers clearly understand what is our business strategy and who is our customer and what solution does this customer get. And they not only know who this, they have a real picture of this customer. And at any point of time when a question comes, what we need to do or how we need to build something, the question your developers will ask themselves is, okay, our persona, Mike, what Mike will do, how Mike would use this. And now your developers can think about the product from the point of view of a real customer. Then we dive deeper in customer journey, where we take a look on the whole complete journey of our customer. This means what our customer do when our customer wants to use our product, start to use our product, and end using our product. For example, if we are working on a bank application and our product is, I don't know, mobile banking, our customer journey starts somewhere where the customer is triggered by deciding that the customer wants to change a bank or open a bank account. And what does a customer do? Customer goes to the Google, search for different banks in his area. Customer go to the website of this bank, take a look on every information there, choose a bank, etc., etc. Open the account, sign the contract, etc., etc. And on every stage here, there are things which influence customer. Some things influence customer in a positive way, some things influence customer in the negative way, and some things are actually okay. And this is something we also need to understand. How impacts our customer. And then we can dive deeper and create a user story map. A user story map is an instrument, it's a complementary practice also, as everything here, where we take a look deeper on functionality. A user story map has a backbone, and this backbone is a deep functionality. This backbone is a big pieces of functionality our product has, and every big piece of functionality is broken into smaller parts, where we really take a look on feature level or on a customer flow level. What does customer use? What does customer do? Etc. etc. For example, Amazon website. Yeah, if we will take a look on user story map based on flow, on the customer flow for Amazon, the backbone will be like Amazon homepage, search, search result, then we have a product page, and then we have a basket and checkout. And on every stage, we have deeper functionality. What is important for homepage? What is important for search page? What is important for product page? And for product page, for example, it's important to have a picture, a price, a button to buy, and all these things are deeper functionality. And when we have a clear understanding here about our business case, business strategy, personas, customer journey, and story maps, we can start creating initial mockups and initial design for developers to understand. On this stage, we gain new ideas. We can create something what product owner even don't thought about, something what people who made decisions and created the product backlog did not thought about, because we involve more creative minds. These are different artifacts. On the top left, we have our business canvas. Below, we have a persona canvas. On the right bottom side, we have an example of user story map, etc., etc. And when we will do this stuff, we will manage to create the ownership about the product. We will create an understanding of the product, and we will create involvement. Not just the team who heard information about the product, but the team who actually has used it, this information. They have touched it. And not only touched it, they hold the product idea in their own hands. And this is exactly what gives the ownership, when we hold something in our own hands and when we contribute. This is ownership about the product. Second point is ownership about self, ownership over self. What does this mean? This means that the team owns themselves as a team. Let's take a look at the Scrum Guide. What the Scrum Guide tells about this? Scrum team are cross-functional. meaning the members have all the skills necessary to create value each sprint. They are also self-managing, meaning they internally decide who does what, when, and how. Scrum Guide 2020. So self-managing, this means the teams who decide about what they do, when they do, and how they do. They have complete ownership about their work and their process. This starts with team individuality and creating a team from the team. Because when people come together and start working on something, it doesn't mean they are a team. They're just a group of people who sit in one room. In our case today, these are also a group of people who sometimes meet in the same Zoom room. So what does team individuality actually means? Team working agreements. Team has working agreements. Team has clear understanding about how do we want to work together. Team has clear understanding about what does it mean for us work together, how do we want to be together, how do we want to be when things get difficult, for example, etc., etc. What are our values, what are our principles, and how we want to support these values? How do we work together as a team? And when we have these working agreements or team alliance, and something goes in wrong direction, we always can stop and say, hey, what of our work agreements we are violating right now? What doesn't work? Because we have agreed that we will do A, B, C, we will behave like this and this, but now our behavior is different. So what's happening? Another point is leadership working agreements. And here I mean what we as a team need from our leaders. Not only how do we work together, but also what do we need from our leaders? How do we want to work with our leaders, and what do we expect? What do we expect, for example, from Scrum Master, from Product Owner, or for leadership? If things get difficult, what do we need from our leaders? If we face problems or impediments, what do we need from our leaders? Third point is something called our land. And actually, it comes from the systems theory and from systems thinking. Everything around us is a system, and we all are roles in the system. And when we are speaking about the team, every team member is own role and own system. And this means that this person lives on his own land with personal rules, how this person always lived before. And everyone in the team lives on his own land, with his own rules, with his own behavior, or with her own rules and her own behavior. But now we will work all together as one team, and we need to move together on one land, and this will be our land. How does this land looks like for us? What does it mean for us all together to be a team? What behavior we want to adopt? What personal behavior we want to leave back? And how we can combine the best of ourselves in order to be a team. And these first 3 points create an understanding about who we are as a team and how we work together. Then we can start speak about motivation and rewards. What motivates us and which rewards we expect. All organizations have different motivation and rewards, but there are no one size fit all. There are no best practices here. And something that works for team A will not work for team B. So what motivates us? Maybe we will work better if we will get a 1-day vacation for every perfect release. Maybe we will work better if we will get a pizza every Friday. What's motivate us? Maybe we need understanding about goals. Maybe we want to understand different achievements. Maybe we are motivated by mastery. I used to work with teams for whom motivation was to become better in what they are doing. I worked with teams whose motivation was to listen about successful stories from the customer and different interesting stories how customer use their product. And the same about rewards. What is our reward? Do we want to have a bonus? Do we want to have more flexibility? Do we want to have more autonomy? Or what is a reward for us? Maybe it's just some sign or a star every team member becomes for a good work together. Or maybe it's additional payments, or maybe it's a pizza party or whatever. But what is the reward for this particular team? And we need not only common understanding about this, but also transparency around this. So our leaders and organization also knows. Then we can speak about personal development. What this means for me to develop myself and to grow. How I will grow. And this is about what skills I want to learn. It's about what trainings I want to visit and what new competencies, what new stuff I want to understand. What is my personal development? How I can tomorrow be better than today. And only I know, because this is my work, this is my life, and I want how to become better and where I want to become better. And yes, there are already personal development ways within the organization, but this way doesn't fit to everyone. There are no one size fit all. For someone it works, for someone not. If I as a person want to develop myself in direction A, but my organization gives me only direction B, this is not something what motivates me. So what is my personal development? And how do we control this? How do we check this? How do we measure this? This also means who measure my personal development. There are departments, there are HR departments and people within the organization who are responsible for personal development of the people, and they assess these people, but they never worked with me together and they don't know what I can do and what I do, how do I perform, so how they can assess me. What would be the best way for me as a team member and us for as a team to be assessed and us as a team to grow. And based on this, we can also create team metrics. What do we want to measure? How we want to understand that we are going to success, how to measure customer success, how to measure product success, how to measure results of the market, how to measure outcome. And if output need to be measured by the company, how would it be? What are our metrics and what we want to measure and what we want to provide to make transparent for the organization as our metrics? And maybe there are some metrics which are just for us, like motivation. I used to work with teams who had metrics around the product, metrics around the value, but also additional metrics about amount of pizza they have ate during the sprint, amount of coffee they drink during the sprint, amount of time they have spent together in the pair programming, for example, as a team. And these were personal metrics of the team. What are our success criteria? How we will understand that our product is successful, how we will understand that our work is successful, that what we do is successful. What are our success criteria around every aspect of our work? Team individuality also includes definition of done. What is definition of done for us? And what is quality for us? What does it mean for us? How we want to develop this? What is the definition of done today? What is our future possible definition of done? And what direction we want to go? How do we make sure that we as a team deliver increments in equality? And definition of workflow. Every team has a workflow. Workflow is actually a space within the work So there are a point of time where the work enters the system, and there are a point of time where work exits the system. And between these 2 points of time, work by developers happens, work by Scrum team happens, and this is their workflow. We need to exactly define where our workflow starts, where our workflow ends, and we need to define what is our workflow. What steps do we have in workflow and what metrics do we have in workflow? This is what team decides. And this is what means ownership and influence of ourselves and our processes. This is hard work, and also the question is how to come to this and what we can do in order to achieve this or actually start working with this. And self-managed teams are able to understand that it's not about me as a person, it's about us as a team. And people start to listen to each other. Truly listen to each other, not just hear what someone says, but truly listen to each other. They start to facilitate themselves. This means they are able to facilitate their own communication and their own events. They don't need a Scrum Master as a facilitator or someone who facilitates always for them. They're able to do this by their own. They visualize everything, actually everything, not only backlogs or Kanban boards, they visualize everything. And they champion deep democracy. Deep democracy means that every voice is heard. This means any kind of decision or anything within the team is made only then when every single voice of the team is heard. This team start to understand that it's not about my work, not about my job, it's about ours as a team. People start to give help and get help. And they make it transparent, they make help transparent. If help needed, they make this transparent. And if they are ready to give help, they make this transparent. And they don't wait for a long time. There are 15 minutes rule. If you cannot solve the problem within the 15 minutes, ask for help. This is what self-managed teams do. They do pair work or group work, such techniques like pair programming, mobbing, and swarming. They work as a group and as a team. They give and get feedback, they are open for feedback, and they implement feedback. And there are no lonely hero. There are no one person who saves everyone or do all the job. There are a team who works and do everything and saves everyone as a team. Teams think about what do they say, and they make everything transparent. They don't lie, and they make things transparent as they are. If there are something that's not in quality, they say that it is not in quality. If there are something not done, then they say that something is not done, something is not ready to be released, etc., etc. They ask questions. If something is not clear, they ask questions. If everything is clear, they also ask questions because they validate and not assume. There are famous philosophers, Steven Seagal, and Steven Seagal says, assumption is the mother of all fuck-ups. So teams validate and not assume. And teams who understand what they are doing, so they not only creating working agreements, they also follow working agreements, hold them transparent, and if working agreements are violated, they do something around this. They leave their working agreements, their values, and their principles. They are always on time, and they respect time of themselves and time of each other. They are reachable in order to give help, provide help, give feedback, or provide feedback, or get feedback. and make the work transparent. They make the work they do in the sprint completely transparent. So everyone understands where we are now, what we are working on, and what we are doing. And when we are managed to achieve this with our teams, when we manage to use these tools here on not me but we, not my but ours, what do we say and what we do, when we are able to use this stuff, then we will be able to achieve team individuality and ownership about the team and about the process. And if we will be able to have ownership about the product and ownership about the team and about the process, then all the problems we had with you at the beginning of this webinar will be, well, maybe they will not immediately be solved, but they will be on the way to solution. This is not so easy and simple, of course, to achieve. And there are also organizational constraints, there are also organizational impediments, but this is the way we want to take and direction we want to move. And if we will do everything right, we will come there. This is what means facilitating team ownership. And if you're a Scrum Master or Agile coach, your job is to make this clear, transparent to your team and help them to do this until they will learn and be able to do this by their own. If you want to learn more, you can take a look on our upcoming trainings, and you can also contact me. My contact details are on the first slide, and I will be happy to support you and to answer your questions.